regard, c'est la grande arme de la coquetterie vertueuse. Parce qu'on peut tout dire avec un regard. Et puis après, on peut toujours nier ce regard-là.
Usually before I go to art museums, I don't like to really look into or research which artists or which paintings are exhibited there. I obviously knew about the water lilies, but I didn't know really which other painters they had at the museum, and I was really surprised actually about how many paintings and really famous paintings they had. I really love all the impressionist painters and paintings, so this was genuinely like heaven for me. I feel like so many paintings that I saw there I'd seen in art class or in art books, because somehow they were familiar to me, like more than I expected. I went to the musée Rodin. It's funny actually, because when I was in art class, when I was in school back in the day, my teacher, she actually showed us this film about Rodin and his life. And the film more so actually focused on Camille Claudel, and she actually was his student, but then she became his lover. She was younger than him, I think by a few years, and the film really focused on the relationship they had, and I guess, yeah, also the abusive relationship they had. So because of this film, I knew a few things about Rodin before going to the museum. I think a lot of his work is obviously really beautiful, but at the same time, especially when you think about, the film and his relationship to women, especially to Camille Claudel, I think that made me realize so many women artists who should also have museums like the Rodin Museum that are just dedicated to them, simply did not get that opportunity. And that made me kind of sad, because there are so many female artists that are kind of forgotten in time and that don't have this recognition now that they actually deserve. But it was really nice to see that they dedicated at least some space to her. I think obviously she deserved more. I mean, she also deserves a whole museum just dedicated to her work, because I think she was just as talented.
Were you ever listening? Did you even care that I was stood by your side? You seem so preoccupied.
The main reason why I actually went to Paris is because I was lucky enough to get tickets to a film screening.
To go, am I overthrown?
Suivi d'une discussion entre Todd Haynes et Kate Blanchett, qui nous a fait l'honneur de venir aujourd'hui pour... Elle a déjà discuté de I'm Not Dead tout à l'heure et elle reviendra donc à l'issue de la projection pour une discussion sur Carole.
Oh, but woman, I'm afraid that I love.
I mean, obviously, Phyllis Nage's script was extraordinary, and I'd read the book growing up and had loved it, and it feels every time you read it, it's still as groundbreaking as the first time you read it. I'm quite fatalistic about these things, and I think that films end up being made in the right way, and it almost didn't get made in the right way, and I had walked away from it actually.
This film is really special to me. I actually watched this film for the first time when I was 15, and this is the first film that really left a mark on me, and I think that really shaped me as a person. It's actually based on a book by Patricia Highsmith called The Price of Salt. I assume that you probably have heard about her. She also wrote books like The Talented Mr. Ripley, and she was a really established author. So to have this screening, I think, was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so it was definitely a very emotional experience to see Kate Blanchett and Todd Haynes in person. Actually, after the screening, I went home and I sent like a 20-minute voice message to my friend, just crying because I was very emotional, and I don't know, I'm always an emotional mess, so yeah. The other thing I want to talk about are bookstores. I know that everyone loves Shakespeare and Company, and I can see why. I mean, it's a really beautiful place. There are always so many people there, and the space is not that big. So if you go to Paris, I would obviously recommend going there, but I would also recommend a different bookstore. I forgot the name, but I will put it on the screen. So if you're ever in Paris, and especially I think if you love classics and just I think English books in general, they have such a huge variety and so much choice. I think I saw books there that I found books there that I have been looking for a long time, and that I couldn't find anywhere else, or that I haven't found in any other bookstore before, so I would really suggest to go there. The second day was the day I had to leave in the afternoon, so I didn't have a lot of time. And in the morning I went to the Rodin Museum, and after that I actually wanted to go to this store, but it turns out that the store was at the other side of Paris. And you know me and my kind of small town girl mentality, I was just thinking, oh, I could just walk everywhere. But the thing is, Paris is actually really big. Like, it's genuinely a big city, so you can't just walk everywhere. I mean, you could technically, but you need time to do that. And I really did not have a lot of time, and I also had to carry my bag, which was so heavy for some reason. So I decided not to do that and instead just walk around, and I actually ended up just sitting in the gardens for a while. And I also bought this really overpriced sandwich, which was actually really good. And yeah, I started to read one of the books that I bought at the bookstore and just have a great time, you know. And then I had to leave again. It was all over.
Were you ever listening? Did you even care that I was stood by your side?